we've got an opportunity here to rewrite history books here where we haven't won in Auckland here against the Jillaroos since 2003.
It is a different game because it's women playing as opposed to men playing. So there's different headspace, and that means that there's different ways of looking at it and different, I suppose, naturalness to what's going to happen.
I really encourage players to play eyes of football and get them to, really get a feel for what they're seeing and how they're seeing it.
DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Ricky, this is a massive game for the Kiwi Ferns coming up on Sunday. Tell us about where you're at, because you've had a week off after that very dramatic win against Samoa.
Yeah, we're in a good space, to be fair. I thought the second half for us against Samoa sort of showed a lot of the qualities that we're looking for. Obviously, the resilience to sort of hang in there, even being down. I think we took a lot of confidence that we could come back, that we got a bit of toughness about us. I think the pleasing thing, we were able to score 22 points, but also we were able to hold them to zero. So from our perspective, the first half was a bit of a, wipe that clean and move on from that and focus on, I guess, the positive aspects of the game against Samoa.
When you get to play the Jillaroos, the world champions, do you think it's actually better for you to have gone through a battle like that and the adversity that the team faced to prepare for a challenge like this? And I only ask that because if you'd wiped the floor and had the second half and the first half and been 22-0 up and coasted to victory, would you have got as much out of it?
I would have liked it that way, but obviously Samoa, they played well in that game. And I guess whenever you play the Jillaroos, as you mentioned, they're a quality team. They're at the peak of their powers, and I think for us, we see ourselves as a bit of an underdog. So we always sort of find a way to get ourselves up for games against the Jillaroos. So for us, it's a challenge and something that we're really looking forward to. And I guess being on home soil as well gives it more, I guess, a special occasion in front of our friends and our families. So I guess for us, I don't think it's going to take too much motivation. We just know we've got to play well, and we're expecting a really tough game and expecting them to be the best, so they'll draw the best out of us.
I'm just trying to sort of correlation, like when you're playing the men's team is playing, our Kiwis are playing the Kangaroos, it doesn't really matter who runs out on the field with an Australian jersey on, does it? You know that they're all going to be really good players. You know that their combinations are going to be good. You know that they're going to be well prepared. All of that's in the bank, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you expect the best from whoever's got that jersey on, and it's the same with us. We're building a culture, and we're building towards the World Cup here, where every time you put that jersey on, you got to put your best foot forward. Otherwise, it'll be someone sort of ready to take your position. I think that's sort of a given. And I guess for us, it sort of tells us where we're at. They're streaks ahead of most of us that are in this competition. But I know little old New Zealand, we find a way to sort of get the underdog tag, and then we sort of punch above our weight. So that's what we'll be leaning on. And obviously being at home here in New Zealand, I think the last time we won was against the Jillaroos in Auckland here was 2003. Wow. So a very long time. So we've got an opportunity here to really, change that. I guess change the future and change what we've been holding on to for a number of years there.
Ricky Henry, you're with us, Kiwi Ferns coach, and we've got a massive double header at Eden Park this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It's just going to be an absolute cracker, as it was at Go Media Mount Smart a couple of weeks back. That 2-week gap, does it help you, does it hinder you or not?
It's the first time we've done it. Like, we would normally be either in the Samoans camp, we would play 2 games and then have a week off, or the Australians where they have the first week off and then play the last sort of 2 or 3 games. So it's the first time we've done this. I think we've come back into camp after a game to sort of regroup and get all our injuries sort of sorted out, the soreness out. So I think it's probably a better way of going about it in this competition, where we play 1 week, have a week off, and then we play the last 2 games, which is obviously this game against the Jillaroos and then the final in Sydney there. So from our perspective, we're planned. We've got some really good people that are good with sports science around recovery, around preparing their bodies. And I think the biggest thing for us is about how fresh we can keep them mentally prepared. It's been a long NRLW season for a lot of these ladies, and just trying to freshen them up, trying to get them a bit of time to themselves. So I think we're good to go here this week, and really looking forward to it.
How much of a distraction is the week after next? Because it's there, it's there, and that's the more important game.
Yeah, it is. It is. As I mentioned, like we've got an opportunity here to rewrite history books here, where we haven't won in Auckland here against the Jillaroos since 2003. So, we're aiming to win every game that we play or be competitive in it. And if we sort of take our foot off the throttle there, we can sort of get hurt by the Jillaroos. So, yeah, look, we haven't spoken about it, but we know we're in the finals. I just want us to sort of focus one step at a time and get through this week, play really well, and give ourselves a chance to beat him. And then the following week will take care of itself.
How do the women feel about the fact of playing the double headers? Do they really like this? Because I know that there was a lot of the blokes were there, especially for that second half and roaring them on in that second half. I just imagine the two teams playing together. There must be a really nice synergy there.
Yeah, it's awesome actually. We get to obviously watch the men play live, which is great. They get their halftime in our game and get behind us. Like, I know the women's game's growing. Its evolution has been crazy over the last 5 years. So having them around is inspirational, but also I think a little bit can be taken from them as well. That we're out there putting the black jersey on. We can sort of set the tone for the day. And I just think when the game started, there was roughly around 2,000 people against Samoa, and then by half time there was like 10,000.
Yeah, you could see, yeah.
So it's awesome for us. Awesome that we get the support, and I guess playing those double headers gives us that, and it'll be the same. This weekend up at Eden Park there, and the Tongan supporters are generally out and get there early and like to sing and chant and cheer teams on, regardless of what team you play for. So yeah, that'll be exciting. And I've had a few games double headers, and the Tongans have played after us, and it's been awesome.
You've made a few changes though. Why is that? Talk us through those.
Yeah, look, we've got a squad of 21, and like the girls that are not playing, we've got Shakira Baker, who played second row, should be rested this week. We've got Shanice Monchel, a young Canterbury Bulldogs player that played really, really well, and I just want us to have a look at her, and that's more about whether she's up to standard to play, at the World Cup, I guess. And then we've got Taishek Naisio, who was on the wing for us. We bring Leita Fungaran, who's a proven performer. She's just had her team at the NRLW, the Canberra Raiders, sort of struggled right at the start of the year, and she was still pretty consistent in her performances. And towards the back end, they were really good. So again, just want to sort of have a look at her and try to see what sort of combinations work best for us. And then we've got Tiana Davison, who will be joining our squad in the middle. So, and that one there is a bit forced because of Brianna Clark being suspended for 2 games. So yeah, there's some meaning behind the changes there, and we're just looking for the right combination, I guess, to play our best football. And every game we're playing, as I mentioned earlier on, is a game that we want to win and try and put our best foot forward there. So yeah, there's some changes there that have got some thought process behind it. I guess the big one there is Tyler King. She's been unbelievable in camp here, and just unlucky that we've got some really quality halves there. And she's a utility these days. She can play fullback, half, hooker, but we've also got Ash Quinlan as well. They can do their job. So yeah, she's going to have to wait her turn, and we'll see how we go this week. And fingers crossed we get too many injuries, and then they force me to have to think about making changes to the team that going into the final.
A couple of quick questions. We'll let you go, and I thank you so much for your time as always. Just for anyone that is going along to Eden Park on Sunday, I urge you to get along early and watch this. Look, I'm just talking about the evolution and what you mentioned before. And that's just not an attitude. It's everything about professionalism, isn't it? You can tell the skill level has really upped itself, and the NRLW absolutely helps that. But it's just, I suppose it's, and you'll know this better, but is it just the regular competition and the regular competition at that level and what that inspires and what that requires, all of that as a package?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think, to play this game, I thought early on when NRLW was launched that it was about just having the best players and players that were sort of robust, that could run hard and, break through lines. Now they've got defensive systems that are too smart. You've got players that are athletes that have really high football IQ. You've got their training patterns and the way they train and prepare themselves to play a game. So all this stuff has evolved over sort of 5 years there, and we've taken a lot of learnings out of the men's space, and obviously applied it to the women's space. And what I really love about the women's game is that we're taking all these chunks of information that the boys have been able to use over the last 100 years, but the game's still quite pure. So a lot of the ladies still see space and they pass the ball to space. There's no sort of just set structure. If they can feel where there's space, or they can feel there's an opportunity, that they're not afraid to chance their arm. It can be tough on a coach when they're sort of sitting there, they're chancing their arm inside their own half. But I think that's just part and parcel of the game. I just remember playing footy when I was young as well, and you'd run to space, or you'd pass the ball to space, or you just sense an opportunity rather than be structured around an opportunity. So
Sure.
I think all those types of things will eventually evolve and get better. And I just think there's a lot of pathway programs in the women's space that have grown the game. So what you're getting now, as opposed to 5 years ago, you're getting players that have got a bit more football IQ, a bit more understanding of how to train, and then when they get out there and play, then there's not a massive gap between the elite players and the NRLW players. So that's the the evolution of the women's game and where it's going, and it's exciting being a part of that and being able to shape that.
Ricky, it's great to hear you say that, because I think one thing that everyone who loves the men's version of the games, it's not just women playing the men's version of the games, and I think rugby's the same, isn't it? To me, it is a different game, because it's women playing as opposed to men playing. So there's different headspace, and that means that there's different ways of looking at it, and different, I suppose, naturalness to what's going to happen. And so I find with rugby, watching women play rugby as well at the very highest level, that it's a really exciting game. And I was just about to use the word product, but that's what it is these days. And I suppose that's what it's got to gear itself to as well. That we're not just going to sit down and go, oh, okay, these are just women playing a men's game. It's actually the women playing their own version of that game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like in the men's space here, you exploit space by speed, and the women's space is probably not as quick. Yeah, so you have to sort of go through them before you think about going around them. So yeah, there's different facets of the game that is starting to evolve a little bit more. But like I just like the purity of what the women's game's got in their mind. And I think, there's a bit of innocence involved in there, but I think also at the same time, there's excitement as well, because it's sort of, you sort of feel like you're freshened up. The game's gone back in time, but it's still got the good athletes, and it's still got the good players that can throw passes that probably we couldn't do when we were younger. But I really encourage players to play eyes at football and get them to, really get a feel for what they're seeing and how they're seeing it. And and in the women's space, we get an opportunity to do that. So it's exciting.
It's always exciting when there's a white V involved. I'm an old man and I love watching our Kiwis play. I've always love watching them play. And when you get a double header like this, like it was a couple of weekends ago, it's just brilliant. It's just great entertainment, great excitement. And playing Australia, as I said earlier, knowing that you got them again in another week, this is excellent. I wish you well. I wish our Kiwi Fern women well, and I hope that a big crowd gets in there to support you and bring you home in this one. And then obviously with eyes on the big prize in a couple of weeks' time too. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me.
DSPN.